I'm gonna go over a list of all the crazy things I did. Why I did them, what was going on at the time, what my mother and father called it, or my relatives, and what the actual professionals call it today when you give them the real details of the situation. Let's start with one that has nothing to do with my mother and father. I liked a heavy metal tool. My brother gave me some little grabby tool, and I liked to hold it, and I was learning a technique in a lot of these crazy places my mother and father were bringing me called grounding. I started learning grounding all the way back in New Mexico, but then we moved me to Maine, no grounding techniques, nothing. Moved me to Chelmsford, nothing. And then later in Chelmsford, another person tried to tell me, I think it was a teacher or a physical therapist, was talking about grounding, where you hold a heavy object, usually like metal or something, and it makes you feel calm. And a pool also made me feel calm if it was hot enough. Remember, I don't do cold. But during hot weather, I could do a pool. And I liked grounding techniques. I didn't understand what it was really called or how it worked, but I knew if I held a metal object that made me feel all calm, I would stay feeling calm. Very simple. Hold this. If I feel good, then I hold it longer and I feel calm. Grounding. Very simple. Well, I found that heavy tool I really liked. My brother just gave me a tool. I really wanted to hold it. You couldn't get me to put it down. I kept it in my pocket, my hand, pocket and hand. Well, I'm going into the pool and I'm about to keep that tool in my hand. I'm just going to hold it. I'm not going to poke a hole. I don't plan on, nope. But it is stupid to bring a tool into a pool. So my brother points it out. This is me being crazy. Why would he want to bring a screwdriver in his pocket while swimming in a pool? Because other adults are telling me how to ground when I'm only 13 years old. So I'm not quite understanding all the concepts here. Grounding techniques work, but you shouldn't be doing them in a pool. Something no adult explained to me. So there's one crazy thing I did. What did I do that was so crazy, and do I did need to be drugged up and medicated? I'm listening to adults. Oh my god, and I didn't understand that you shouldn't be listening to adults in a pool. Oh, I must be some crazy kid. I'm some crazy lunatic. I'm in danger of hurting myself and others, huh? Well, let's move to the next one. Okay. I'm playing with Legos and I just got a new adopted mother. I find a swimming medal and I won the swimming medal at the YMCA with the staff members from the orphanage. They brought many kids to this YMCA pool and we did some swim, just tread water, go over here. They're holding some of us up, stuff like that. And then at the end, they say, whoever treads water the longest will get a prize. So I tread water the longest. Fantastic. And mostly because my nervous system isn't junk yet. I haven't been OD'd yet. I've only been held down and given a double dose of Ritalin once because another kid wants to make up a story. And my mother's only destroyed my stomach and esophagus, things like that. And that comes later. During the swim class, none of that has happened. While I'm going through this Lego box, a lot of it has happened. Anyways, so I got the swimming medal I won. The staff member put my name, ZG, on it, what was my name at the time. And she told me to make sure no other kids steal it, so I put it in my Lego box. Went through foster care from place to place. Now I'm with this adopted family. I'm playing with my Legos, and I come across a medal, and I go, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that was a fun day. Oh, I should show my new adopted mother my accomplishments, yes. So I take this little brass medal, I run my little tiny body, my little tiny, oh, I love Santa Claus and he's real body, my little stupid 6-year-old body, 7-year-old body, I think I'm 7. I go over to my mother, I look at this tall person and I go, Mom, Mom, and she looks down at me. She gives me a kind of snarl look, like with the eyebrow, kind of like, what the fuck do you want? Look. And I say, look at the swimming medal I won. At this point, she snatches it away from me, steals it away from me. She grabs it and says, how dare you steal other people's medal? And why are you writing your name, your old name on stuff? Oh, no. And I say, no, I won that in the orphanage. I won that, Mommy. And she's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You stole this medal. You're no good. You're stealing things. You're lying about things. You have attachment disorder. I need to bring this to the doctor and you need to be medicated. So again, why am I so crazy? And then, oh yes, they medicate me because of this. Yes, I need to be medicated right away. And what does my mother say? I'm making up fantasies. I'm a liar. I'm a thief. And I'm writing my old name on stuff just to get back at her at something or just to get at her because my mother is really mentally ill and she thinks everybody's out to get her. She's jealous of my toys, for goodness sake. They see things in the hallway that aren't there, and she thinks her son is out to get her just because her son wanted to show her a swimming medal. So my mother's off the rails and loony, but instead she's going to medicate me and put all her bullshit on me. Just like my family is very good. When in doubt, just blame it on Zach. Blame it on the little orphan kid. Yeah, nobody will be any the wiser. So, at this point, why am I mentally ill? Well, what is this one? Because I won a swimming medal in an orphanage and tried to show it to my mother. I need to be medicated. I'm a liar. I'm a thief. I have attachment disorder. I'm writing my names on things. That is all the fantasies my mother and my father wrote on my medical record and got me medicated for at the age of 7 in Westford. So, apparently, I am also crazy and mentally ill because I'm winning swimming medals in orphanages and trying to show it to my new adopted mother. Apparently, that's no good either. Okay, how about the next one? I'm hyper all the time at age 5. Oh my God, a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old is hyper. Oh, that's wrong. We can't have no 5-year-olds to 7-year-olds hyper running around like a crazy 7-year-old. We can't have any 7-year-old running around like a child. We can't have that. No. We can't have a 7-year-old hyper like a child. No children allowed in this house. So that makes me mentally ill too because I'm a hyper ADHD regular old child that's running around like a regular child trying to ask a million questions just like a regular child. I'm maybe even playing with a match, trying to figure out how a match works because I've never seen fire before like a regular child. That makes me mental too because I lit a match. Oh no, kids like fire. I mean, my nephew at 5, 6 years old, he's trying to play with a lighter and trying to figure out how the lighter works and stealing it from my room and bringing it to the school he goes to and things like that. But does that make him mentally ill? No, it makes him a child. But me, oh, that's a mental illness. You got to remember, this is Zach we're speaking of. So he takes a book of matches and can't even light one, can't even figure out how they work. He's burning the house down, my mother says. She drills it into me, and because I'm only 5 to 7 years old, that must be what I'm doing. If my mother says that's the case, I mean, she tells me Santa Claus is real and Santa Claus is real. So if my mother says this, it must be true. So I guess if a kid takes a box of matches and tries to figure out how to light it, that also means he's a pyromaniac and trying to burn the house down. So we have a mental illness there too. So he's ADHD. He's hyper all the time. Oh my God. So we need to medicate him seriously. Oh my God, yes. Okay, let's go over some of the other weird behaviors that we go. Oh, he moves to Texas and he doesn't know how to respond to a new school. He wants a slip and slide and is told no, so he tries to build his own. Yes, the son tries to build his own slip and slide, and it works. It's slippery and slidey. Oh my God, somebody could slip. So he's crazy. What is this kid trying to do? Make the floor slippery and kill somebody? He must be trying to hurt somebody with this slip and slide. Yes, because he's trying to make people slip. It has nothing to do with the fact that he just asked me for a slip and slide to play with, and then he said he was going to make his own slip and slide. It has nothing to do with that. And then we're going to put him in New Mexico right after he asked his doctor, and he's doing weird stuff. Oh, let's go back a minute. In Westford, another psych one. He's given an overdose of medication. He loses his own sight. He loses the ability to speak. His whole body is fried. The teachers see this change and are calling him into the hallway, asking him what suddenly changed in his body. What happened at home to make you like this? Which the kid has no answer. But at the doctor's office, the kid is talking about how he was given medication and his whole body was fried. And the mother even was on the phone with emergency responders who told her to bring me to the emergency room. But she said they don't know what they're talking about and hung up and let me sleep it off like she knew better. Okay. Well, my mother says, oh, that's just an allergy attack. Nothing to see here. We don't got to look into that. That has nothing to do with my illness, an overdose that still is affecting me at the age of 31. That has nothing to do, my mother says. And she continues acting crazy. And right after this overdose, her 7-year-old son is sucking on his skin, saying that he feels different and he wants to feel what it feels like because he can't tell what it feels like. And it tickles, and it kind of feels good like a tickle, but it didn't feel that way before. And you have no clue what to call this feeling you're having. And again, you're mentally ill for sucking on your skin. That's called self-harming. You're suicidal. We need to tell your doctor that you're suicidal and need more medication, is what my mother says. So apparently I'm mentally ill because I sucked on my skin, because an overdose fried my nervous system. I was bumping into furniture and stuff like that. Okay, let's fast forward back to Texas, the next place my mother brought me after doctors figured out there was something wrong with my physical health. Oh, and doctors were worried about, and the physical therapists, and the speech therapists, and the teachers were very worried about this change in my body, my nervous system, my movements, a sudden neurological disorder where I couldn't move my body, but at the time they're calling it a coordination issue, lack of movement, muscle spasms, things like that. And they're seeing this and having me in physical therapy, and they're telling my mother that they need to help more and stuff like that. So my mother puts me in ballet and a bunch of little girly classes, against my will, nothing for boys. And then we moved to Texas. So now we're in Texas. I'm trying to check that out, and I mentioned some of my physical health problems, like the movement issues with the doctor. And don't forget, my mother moves me to Texas. Apparently, I'm not allowed to speak about my physical health or my real problem. My mother has made that very clear. She even got mad and asked me with the evil look, why are you talking about that with the doctor? So it's very clear I'm not allowed to talk about my physical health. And she's now moving me to New Mexico, where there are no doctors and no proper education. Again, I must be mentally ill, my mother says. She keeps on making up mental illnesses. And we'll make this part one of my mother's and father's reporting of mental illnesses and some of the information you need that goes along with it. We're going to have to give a lot more on this, though. These short videos do not do justice to the bullshit my mother and father pulled. It is sometimes so confusing that you need to have all the context. You can't just believe bullshit three-liners. Anybody can do that. Oh, my mother is crazy. Well, if you just want to believe that, then that's simple. But if you want to say my mother's a nut, that's another thing. But there's a lot of things. Like, for one, she's not alive no more. For two, it was more of a mental illness. For three, there was purpose behind it. For four, there's documentation and paperwork on it that actually was told to them, and then they would just do stupid things to make sure nobody would help me, like ballet and moving me to another state. And then when I start talking about it with doctors, moving me to New Mexico, and then and it's not as simple as that either. There's medications involved. There's trying to dodge questions. There's me speaking about it in doctors' offices, and then my mother calling it some mysterious allergy attack. There's the Epicac. Don't forget, oh, I forgot to mention, I'm suicidal, so I need a full bottle of Epicac because I didn't understand the words another adult told me. There's a whole one that goes along with that that's in one of my videos too. So there's a lot of these that I'm just called mentally ill. Like, for instance, in Texas, a breeze was causing me to shake and making it harder for me to walk out at play. So I put on a leather jacket, a suede light leather jacket, but everybody thought I was crazy because it's 80 degrees and there's only a little wind breeze. But see, I have a neurological disorder that causes me discomfort, pain, falls, and seizures with cold, flashing lights, certain noises. So sometimes I cover my ears with certain noises like beeps, and I also put on jackets when it's breezy out, when anybody else would be in a short sleeve shirt. So yes, at the age of about 10 years, no, sorry, younger, 8, 9 years old, I wore a suede jacket in Texas on an 80-degree day, or maybe even more. Meanwhile, everybody else was in short sleeves. That sounds crazy. Why are you wearing a suede jacket in the heat? Because it's windy out and I'm cold. It's not cold out here, everybody else says. You must be crazy if you think it's cold. But see, I have a neurological disorder that is affected by temperature changes. So it causes like a taser-like feeling going through the back, going into the limbs, making me twitch a lot more. So I bump into stuff more. It's harder for me to walk, harder for me to talk, harder for me to use my nervous system. So that makes perfect sense with a neurological disorder that your child would be putting on a jacket when it's windy out. But if you don't know your son has a neurological disorder, then you just call him crazy. He's just crazy, you say. But see, the doctors wanted to help me with this neurological disorder at age 7 in Westford. My mother and father didn't want the help, and they wanted to move to Texas, and then move me to New Mexico, and then move me to Maine, and keep me moving, what makes it very hard for anybody to help me. Now, my father was a victim, but doesn't want to be a victim. But he was very complacent in going along with this as red flags went up left and right. I mean, an overdose at your feet is a very clear red flag.